Now I would like to call upon Mr. Saurya SJB Rana, President of Nepal India Chamber of Commerce and Industry, to give his review remarks on behalf of the Nepal India Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
Your Excellencies on the dais, gentlemen on the dais, people from the press, etc. A lot of people were asking me questions. Exactly what did you achieve in this Prime Minister's visit? Now, a 25-point agreement was made, yet a lot of people are still incredibly confused. What was it? Because in a 25-point agreement, everything is slightly jumbled. And a lot of members of the press said, look, can we have some idea exactly what was said sector-wise? So I thought rather than talking generally, I'd go very specifically on this. The question was, is this a successful visit as far as trade, business, investment overall goes? I think it's a highly successful visit. And I'll tell you why. First, let's just look at the lines of credit that came onto the 25-point agreement. India has already given line of credit 1, line of credit 2. They have added a line of credit 3, we can say, which is $550 million in infrastructure, of which we have sort of 330 million on roads, Mahakali Bridge, 200 million for irrigation projects. So we already have that sort of money coming in, which we are going to be using. There is also a $750 million reconstruction budget. A lot of the projects have not been identified, they are to be identified. So this is also available to Nepal. And as Nepalese, I know Chandra Givreji, the ministers here, we have to start allocating projects to come into this area. One was, of course, what was mentioned in the 25 point was the $50 million increase for contribution to 50,000 households from 2 lakhs to 3 lakhs. India would be there. There's also talk, although it's not there, a possibility of an additional LOC. If you look at Hulak Rajmarg Phase 2, cross-border transmission line to Butwal, Dhalkebar 400 kV and Hetauda 400 kV, and the Polytechnic, these are also online. So India is helping us by giving us line of credits to open up. That came in the 25-point agreement. If you look at the subsectors, as it were, there's tourism, which was mentioned. There's an agreement to hold civil aviation talks for additional air routes. That is an important point for us. We're already seeing backlog and blockage. Both sides will take steps to fully implement the MOUs in cooperation with tourism, including development of tourism in form of Buddhist Hindu pilgrimage circuits. Very, very important to Nepal. And I know from NICCI's side, I can see our tourism convener, Saurya SJB Rana here. We are instrumental in making the MOU. We have the tourism people coming in February. We've asked the press to come for that as well. So how do we take the tourism side forward? Because that also engages a lot of people in Nepal. And of course, traditional medicine, which is Ayurvedic, etc., was mentioned. On the trade and infrastructure side, one is the renewal of the trade treaty between India and Nepal in October 2016. We've agreed that it will be renewed for now. Any changes and developments we require would come at a later date. Today, myself and Hari Bhaktaji, we met with the head of the eminent persons group, Dr. Deshpal Thapa, to say that can trade also be brought in? And he had mentioned to us that maybe we can bring it on the 3rd phase, etc. So how can we improve our position on the trade treaty? Birganj ICPs. Now, ICPs was the real point that we had brought out from our 4 chambers. So, in that 25-point agreement, we have Raksol Birganj coming in, we have commencement of construction of Biratnagar, and we have expediting DPRs of our Nepal, Ganj and Bhairava. So, whatever we required regarding the ICPs have come into the 25-point agreement. On roads and railways, we've looked at the Hulaki Rajmarg, Phase 2. We've looked at the rail link projects, I won't read them out. And we've talked about initiation of cross-border links, which are available. So this is relating to roads and railways, which also came into the 25-point program. On energy, I will not talk much about it because Gyanendra-ji's already talked about Dhalkebar expediting. Construction of these transmission lines. which are critical. That's also part and parcel of the power and energy trade. Preparation of master plan for cross-border interconnection and the action plan for Power Trade 25. That's also in the 25-point agreement. Looking at how to operationalize the power trade agreement. Very important for Nepal. Hopefully we'll be able to move that forward as well. This is also a key issue. In the hydropower, we have completion of these hydropower projects was important. Pancheshwar, Apakarnali, and Arun 3. Now, why I want to mention these specifically is if these come in, and I know Mark Sathi is here from IDIA, if these come in, we will get FDI, ladies and gentlemen. If these do not come in, there is going to be a strong rationale for FDI from India not to come into these projects. So really, we must start addressing these projects. Also, the expeditation of the Pancheshwar multipurpose project, Gyananji has spoken, so I will not speak on that. Other areas which happen to be covered were water resources, which is very, very important, I think, for both sides, and the petroleum expediting. So these were the key points on the bilateral trade and commerce issue related to Nepal and India. Now, the imperatives for FDI, that also in the 25-point program came. One was underlining the need for secure environment for investors to project Nepal as an attractive destination for foreign investment. Mr. Buddhanitya Mukherjee just looked at that. There is a whole host of issues which all the multinationals had, not just the Indians, but others from Norway, America, which is available with NICCI. Unless those are addressed by the government, we are going to be in problems on FDI. That is also available with NICCI if anyone would like it. Now, there was one line which is about monitoring projects, and I've seen it come up in the press, which I really am finding it very hard to understand. One was, it said, closely monitor progress on ongoing projects under bilateral economic development. It also said we need to address any bottlenecks and complete them in a time-bound manner. We have been screaming on this from our chambers with the Prime Minister and others. We need time-bound action, otherwise it carries on and on and on. If we feel India is also not in a time-bound process, a lot of you talked about the Hulaki roads, we need to also bring it up to them. So what was the best mechanism to address this? And as far as we were concerned, oversight comprising senior officials from the Indian Embassy in Kathmandu and Government of Nepal. Now, as far as we're concerned, or rather I am concerned, Embassy of Kathmandu is the best place to address these issues. They're right on top of it. They're the one who knows about everything. So I stress, having Indian Embassy in Kathmandu being the person who's going to look at expediting, it makes absolute sense to me. What I'd actually like to ask Chandra Givre is, what is it from our side? Here it's pretty clear who's going to look after it. Who's going to look after that? Would the PMO office also be the one who looks after that? Just put a quick presentation together, so hopefully it's clear to you. This is also available with anyone who'd like it. So thank you very much.